Your Story family, this is Allison Gaillard with Run Your Story, where every story needs to be heard. And what an honor to be able to share with you guys Amy Marquez and her Run Your Story and about Double Bridge. So much fun. This race is coming up this weekend, and I highly encourage you to go into it. This will be my second year. It's such a scenic run. And we chat about not only Amy's run story, but also all things Double Bridge and just how incredible the organization is that puts this on and what they do for their community to make sure that kids and families move their bodies. And I love that so much. I just think that's the coolest thing. And I so appreciate Amy sharing that. She also shares her love of Boston, where she's originally from, and how that race is so near and dear to her heart. It's such a beautiful story, and the story of her grandmother. Guys, this is such a sweet story and such a sweet podcast, and I'm so thankful for Amy and that I got to sit down and talk with her. I will say on a side note, unfortunately, my mic wasn't the best mic, and so the audio on my end is a little rough. We have since then updated. We talked with some podcast friends of ours, and they gave us some suggestions. So for future, when we're doing Zoom calls or online chats, that it'll be more clear for you guys. Amy sounds great, absolutely fantastic, and Gray worked his magic as much as he could on our end. So I do apologize that it was not the best sounding quality on our end. So I hate that, but Amy is really that's who you want to hear anyway. So again, she sounds great. And so I appreciate Amy sitting down to talk about Double Bridge and, again, her beautiful story and the running community that she's involved with in Pensacola. And we also talk about injuries and how injuries have kept her. Man, she is like a beast to be all the comebacks that she's had from her injuries. And she's not let that deter her from getting onto the pavement and running. And so, Amy, you're amazing. I absolutely just love you. And thank you so much for sharing your story. You're absolutely incredible. And guys, speaking of incredible, the Port City Pacers, they put on such incredible races as well. They are powering up our podcast this month, and so excited to be part of the Port City Pacer family. We have a membership. I highly encourage you to go out and get a membership to the races. You save a few bucks, and it's totally worth it. And you're supporting a great cause as well. Port City Pacers was organized right here in Mobile, Alabama in 1979 as a nonprofit chapter of the RRCA, the Road Runners Club of America. It was founded to educate us Mobilians about the benefits of running, walking, and really about moving our bodies. And that's something that Amy's organization does as well, and I absolutely love that. The club is committed to promoting and encouraging participation in road races. So much fun. Port City Pacers do such a great job of trying to keep races affordable, especially for families. And I just appreciate that about them so much. And Port City Pacers, guys, they put on Azalea Trail's coming up. Everyone loves that. But you may not know Battle of Mobile Bay is coming up. Super excited and cannot wait for that race as well. You also have Old Mobile AK, Do It in the Bush, and so many other races that Port City Pacers put on. And again, those all go to local nonprofits and organizations. And I also want to say a special thank you to Port City Pacers. Some of you may not know, but I have a connection with Victory Health. That's my full-time job with Victory Health Partners. And they actually gave a donation to the food bank that we have at Victory Health Partners. And that was so cool because that money came from the Turkey 10 miler. And so I just love and appreciate the Port City Pacers and their hearts for giving. And they're like, no matter what, this is what we're gonna do. After t-shirts and medals and everything else is paid for, they do what they can to give back to our community. And I cannot thank Port City Pacers enough for that. And guys, you can go become a member and register for races at the local running store, online at portcitypacers.com. Also follow them on social media as well. And that membership is good for a year. So if you register tomorrow to become a member, you won't renew that membership until next January, February. So definitely get on that. And again, there's some great perks, and they're always working to find fun, creative ways to make things even more fun for members. So you don't want to miss that. Become a Port City Pacer member. If you need guidance, reach out. You can also go to runyourstory.com, and on our very first page right there is the Port City Pacers link as well. So highly encourage that you go and do that. So Thank you so much to Port City Pacers and for all that you do for our running community, and just absolutely love you guys. You're fantastic. And give a shout out to Port City Pacers. They're amazing. Thank you for powering up this podcast. All right, guys, get ready, get set, and go run with my friend Amy and her runner story. Okay, so excited to have Amy in Double Bridge. This is a huge miss for me. It's one of my favorite places. So scenic, so beautiful. And just thank you for putting on such a great place.
No problem. I don't do it alone. I can tell you that much right now. We have, I could say, maybe over 30 people just on the committee alone who help out. And that's not in addition to police, volunteers, and pretty much everyone in between that helps put this race on. So it's definitely a group and community effort to put on this race.
So let's dive in. What is your run story, Amy?
I don't know even where to begin. I think I've been running my entire life. I could say probably starting at 4 years old, just playing soccer. I think soccer is where my path to running started. I grew up in Framingham, Massachusetts, and if anybody knows where Framingham is, that is one of the points that the Boston Marathon runs through. So I right down the street, we would get up and watch it every year and go right down the street and see the Boston Marathon. As long as I can remember, we went every year. The whole family took some chairs and just walked down the street, and it went by our house literally every year. So I think that's where my probably first love started with running. But yeah, just my family is a big sports family. My dad, my mom, sister, brother, even up to my grandmother, we've all just done sports in some way in our lives. So that's always been a big part of my life. And I think it just really started there. I know one of the stories I like to tell, or actually my grandma would always tell it to me. I don't really quite remember it, but she would always tell me when my brother and sister were at practices how I would always say, "Grandma, time me," and I would just take off around the track. And she would always act like she's timing me, but I don't think she ever really did time me. Now growing up. Yeah, I'm so fast. But I think maybe that's where it all started, was just going around the track at 4 or 5 years old and just begging my grandma to time me and see how fast I could go around the track. And then it just progressed from there. Soccer is a running sport, but obviously there's a ball involved, so it's a stop and go kind of a running. So yeah, I've been playing that since I was about 4 years old as well. Obviously, I don't play it anymore. I had to give that up. But from there, it just grew into just solo running. So, yeah.
Wow. So I have to know, how did you get from Massachusetts to Pensacola?
We moved to Florida, Tampa, Florida. My family moved in 91. And then from there, finished high school in Florida, learned about West Florida as I was applying to colleges, and got into West Florida. Came here to play soccer, actually walked onto the team and played soccer. And then, yeah, I graduated, moved away, did grad school, had a couple jobs here and there, and then found my way back about 13 years later. And here I am now back again in Pensacola. So
that's amazing.
Yes.
Oh, so how did you become race director for Double Bridge?
So I'm actually director of events. Double Bridge Run is just one event that we put on with Pensacola Sports. That's really who I work for, is Pensacola Sports. Double Bridge Run is just one of our biggest events that we have throughout the year, but we put on a number of events, not just running events. We have fishing tournaments, we have firefighter challenges, high school all-star series. You name it, we probably have it. It's just, we have a wide variety. We don't discriminate. We like to have people moving their bodies and any kind of thing to do with athletics and just that overall well-being of yourself. So, but Double Bridge Run, so I started working with Pensacola Sports in end of 2018.
Okay.
Just as an event manager. So learning about all the different things that they did, being the lead on some of the events, and then obviously helping out with the rest of them. And then I had a previous director in this role. He, I guess, retired, I guess you could say, or went on to a different position about, I want to say 3 years ago, maybe, or maybe it was 2 years ago. I can't remember exactly the timing. And then so I just fell into that role as the director of events. So this is now I believe it's my third time doing it as the race director. But I've done it at least 5 times, 3 in the role of race director and 2 in the role of just helping out on the side and doing other things. So now I'm just doing it all. I'm not, like I said before, I'm not doing it all because we have a number of people who are doing it. But as the lead, and I'm the one who everyone comes to for questions and answers, and I'm the one who's leading and directing and delegating everything so that it all gets done. So yeah, this will be my 3rd year. I also went through the COVID year, so that was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we also, along with COVID, we also had the main bridge of the double bridge run was out. So we also had to work around that. How do we have a double bridge run without a bridge? and we managed to do it. It's a lot of obstacles that you have to cross and figure out how to do it so that people can have the race that they know and love here in Pensacola. So yeah.
And it's a fantastic race. It's absolutely scenic. The crowd support that comes out, the water stations, absolutely phenomenal. The finish line is so much fun.
Yes, and I think I ran it when I was going to school here, which was in, I want to say 2001 is when I ran it, and I was 22 years old. So now 20 years later, I'm actually training for it. I won't be running it, obviously, on race day, but I do plan to run it the day after on my own, just to see what I can do 20 years later, see what my timing is. I found my time. I was like, I didn't remember what my time was, but I looked it up just to see what I could find. And I think I did it in 1 hour and 45 when I was 22. So I'll see what I can do this time.
Like, why not? Why not? So this is one of my favorite questions, and that is, what are lessons that you've learned from running?
I don't know if it's just specifically from running, but I think just sports overall is discipline, that self-motivation. I think self-motivation is the biggest probably from running because it is a solo sport. You can have running clubs and you can have people that you go out with, but you have to be the one who actually gets up and goes and does it because nobody's going to make you get up and do it. You have to actually either want to get up at 4 o'clock or whatever time it is that you go running and complete that task, whether it's going out for a 2-mile run or if you're going out for a 10-mile run. So it's that self-motivation, self-discipline. And I guess if you are running with other people, it's that accountability, because if you're with the group and you're saying, okay, we're going to go out at 6:30 today. If you don't show up and all these other people do, then you feel bad. And not only that, but they're also probably going to get on you and be like, where are you? We were here at 6:30, why aren't you? So it's that accountability and just self-motivation, I think, is the biggest for me. And that kind of mental discipline as well, mental strength, that endurance that you have to have, no matter how far you go or how short of a distance you go. I think you just always have to have that mental strength to complete not only this, but I think anything that you do in life.
Yeah. I need a pocket-sized version of you. We take with me. I love that so much. So obviously beside Wobble Bridge, because we know that's your favorite race. Do you have another favorite race? This and Boston. Wait.
Well, I was going to say Boston is probably my other, is probably, I shouldn't say it's above Double Bridge, but it is above Double Bridge because it's just been something I've grown up with. So Boston is probably my number one love in my running history, or in my running career, I guess you could say, if I have a career in running. And so I don't know what it is about Boston, but that's kind of my ultimate goal, is I hope to one day make it, either qualify and actually run it. I don't know how long that's going to be. It's not going to be anytime this year or in the next couple of years. I don't know. But yeah, I think Boston has just always been near and dear to my heart, just being born in that area and just seeing it for 10 years that I lived there in Massachusetts, just seeing it every year and just seeing how many people, and I would hold out water and hold out different drinks or hold out signs and things like that, and just seeing the wheelchair people go by and the racers go by. So it's just something that, and I still watch it on TV. I know when it's on, so I'll watch it on the streaming. If I'm at work or something, I'll have it on my second computer just watching it. So I never miss it unless I haven't missed it yet, even if I don't live there. So I'm always watching it. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. And you're like, I'm sure when I can, and you're like, my street.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. Let's talk about, what does your pre-race routine look like?
Oh, wow. I don't know that I've ever really had a routine. I know a lot of people probably have a better routine than I do, and I don't say that I am any expert in running, but I think the main thing I do is stretch, try to hydrate a little bit beforehand. I don't really eat too much before I run. I'm not really a big breakfast person, never really have been. So I think the most I eat is like a half a banana and some water, try to get some electrolytes in me. And yeah, just stretching, listening to music, that kind of thing. But yeah, that's my pre-race routine. Nothing too dramatic.
You're like, listen, it works. You know.
Yeah, everyone has their own thing, and mine's pretty even keel. Nothing too drastic.
Let's talk about when you cross the finish line. What does your post-race routine look like?
I think it depends on how far I've run. It's all different, but usually if I'm just running at home and I've gone pretty far, I've tried to run pretty far, I usually just lay on the floor and stretch.
Like, I'm done.
Yeah, I'm done. I don't know why I did that, but I did it. Usually if it's a race, I'll try to walk a little bit after I've run just to shake my muscles out and just kind of get the post-race food that they have out there and get my nutrition back in, and yeah, just hang out in the post-race, get my medal, take pictures, show everyone what I did, kind of thing.
Absolutely. What is your favorite running item? You're like, I will not run without this item.
A headband for sure.
Okay. Do you have a favorite brand?
No, just a headband, just to really catch the sweat. And my hair goes crazy when I run, so it keeps my hair from going everywhere as well. So yeah, just as long as I have a headband or a hat. I only started running with hats probably within the last year. And it's normally in the summertime. I don't do it in the wintertime, but in the summer when the sun is just so hot on you, it helps keep the sun off your forehead. So I only started doing that just recently, and I was like, oh, I like it with a hat on, so I'll do that now with a hat.
I love that. Running shoes. What are you running, my friend?
Right now I'm running in the Brooks Glycerin. I don't remember what number it is, but when I started really running, my first pair was a Brooks, and I just kept within the Brooks brand. I tried other ones, just trying them on at the stores, and I just didn't really like the way they feel. But yeah, so far I'm just sticking with the Brooks.
The Brooks. Yeah, okay. For your long runs, how do you fuel?
I've only recently gotten into longer runs.
Okay.
So I'm still learning how to fuel myself. I just discovered the honey stinger waffles, and they are delicious. And then just with the electrolyte, kind of the powders, I'm trying to figure out which one of those that I like the best. Right now, I'm sampling the Element electrolytes. I really like those. I did Liquid IV for a while. And then I also have been trying the gels, the goo gels. I don't drink caffeine, so I've been trying to stay away from caffeine nutritional stuff. So I found some stuff that doesn't have caffeine in it. So just trying those out still and just trying to see what my body really reacts to and how it helps. So I'm going to be doing the 9 miles on Sunday. So I think that is when I'll test out some in-race nutrition stuff to see what kind of helps me a little bit better.
Listen, I love being a test dummy for Josh. Go back. Because you're like, oh, I like ones, or oh, that didn't settle well with me.
Yeah.
So it makes race made nerves so much better. You don't have to worry about it. You're like, I'm going to figure it out.
Yeah. I've tried the gels before, and I don't know, it's so thick. You just have to drink a bunch of water afterwards, and then that's all slushing in your stomach, and that's not good either. So I don't know if I'd rather just have gummy bears or something small that I could snack on. Which I've seen a lot of people do gummy bears in the chews, so maybe that's something I'll try. We'll see.
Let's talk about, do you have a favorite running memory?
Probably the best one I can think of is really the stories that my grandma would tell me, because a lot of it is when I was younger and I really don't remember, but she would always tell me just about the track thing when I would ask her to time me. I do remember my grandma was really big on walking. She would walk everywhere, and she would have her stick with her walking stick. So I do remember doing that a lot with her. And I remember a race in particular. I don't remember exactly what race it was, but it was in Massachusetts at somewhere. And I just have the vision of walking with her in this race. I don't know if I was actually signed up to do it or if she just brought me along, but I just remember that. But yeah, I think things with my grandma and just having that kind of connection with her and getting that motivation from her she's always wanting to walk, and she loved to walk. She would walk anywhere. She would just be like, I'll walk to your house, or she would just show up and be like, how did you get here? Oh, I walked. Be like, we could have come and picked you up.
She's like, no, really, I walked 5 miles of snow to get to you.
Yeah, she would. She would walk miles and be like, why didn't you call us? I wanted to walk. Okay.
I love that. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. Oh, thank you for sharing incredible adorable. All right, let's talk about how you crossed the finish line. Is there a certain food that you're like, I cannot wait to eat this?
Pretty much anything. I don't shy away from food, that's for sure. But I think if there's a sandwich, I know sometimes they have Subway sandwiches or the little pinwheels. I think I usually go for those. Pizza is always a good one too. Bananas I'll usually do last because it's unhealthy stuff. But I do get it. Yeah, I had that at the beginning of the race, so then I'll have another one at the end of the race. But yeah, just anything that, if they have something there, I'll probably go and eat it.
Amy, I already love you so much. Oh, that's so great. You mentioned music.
Yes.
So what does your running jam playlist look like?
Oh, a little bit of everything. I have Blink 182, I have Pink. I think I had some Bon Jovi on my run I just did. Eminem. Really anything that is upbeat, and if I can't dance to it, then I'm probably not running to it. Yeah, anything upbeat. Sometimes I listen to words a lot too in the lyrics, so not only just the beat of the song, but I think sometimes it's also what the song is saying to me. So if it's motivational words or something like that in the song, then I'm more so listening to the words than what the actual song is for me. So yeah.
That is so me too. I totally get that.
Yeah.
You get so, yes, I love this song.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so good.
But then there's some I don't really care what the words say. I just like Eminem. I don't know that Eminem really has that many inspiration, but he does actually. If you think of some of his songs, but no, I love Pink. I love Blink 182 is probably one of my favorite alternative bands. So anything with that kind of upbeat, go-getter type of music.
Let's talk recovery. You mentioned before for stretching, but is there a recovery tool that you're like, yeah, that's my go-to?
The massage gun.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
So I got a massage gun probably about 3 years ago for Christmas, and it actually just died on me about 2 weeks ago. So I have to get a new one. But yeah, I love the massage gun, the foam roller. I'll usually do that as well. Just anything to roll your muscles out and get them loosened back up again. But yeah, those are probably my two favorite ones.
Okay. Nice. Do you have a favorite cross-training activity?
I do strength training, CrossFit. I don't do it as much as I used to anymore, but I will dabble in it a little bit. I do work with a coach that helps me with my mechanics of running, helps me injury preventative. I've had a lot of injuries in my life, so I do a lot of injury prevention with him, just kind of little movements, but those little movements, you doing them consistently, they help in the long run. So I do a lot of that. Yeah, just strength training, things like that.
Oh, I'm a huge believer in strength training for runners.
And stretching.
Absolutely.
Yeah, stretching I do a lot as well. I'm always stretching.
Is there a race that you're like, that was not my best, won't think we'll go back and do that?
It was probably my first 10K. Or no, it might have been my first 5K that I did this year or last year. I don't remember what it was, but I kept cramping. I don't know what was the deal. I want to say that was my first 5K ever, just the first 5K this past year. But yeah, I just kept cramping, and I walked a little bit, and I was like, I can't believe I'm walking and I've only gone 2 miles. That doesn't matter anymore. I'll just jog it in as slow as I can. So yeah.
Was it during the summer? Or did you say beginning of this year? So I'm January.
No, well, it was in the summertime, yeah. Beginning of last year, sorry.
Summers here are brutal.
I know.
So
yes, I know
you're
that.
fun. I got you back. Let's say that somebody comes to you and they're like, Mimi, I want to get started running. Or they're coming back from injury. As you mentioned, you've had injuries.
Yes.
What is some advice you would give to them about getting onto the pavement?
If they're just starting out, just do it. I don't want to use Nike's logo or their slogan, but yeah, I would just get out there and do it. Don't worry about walking, because that's how you get started. A run-walk method, and little by little, you'll eventually get to where you're consistently running and you're not walking, and there's nothing wrong with walking. If you're intimidated by running, find a run club, I would say, or a run group. I think the running community is really welcoming to anybody, whether you're an elite runner or if you're just beginning. They're really welcoming, and they're really good about helping you and motivating you to get to where you want to be. I think from an injury standpoint, just don't give up. I've had so many injuries I couldn't even tell you, and probably injuries to where if that was anyone else that hasn't had that sports background or the support, I probably would have quit and just said, you know what, I can't do this anymore. I'll just give up this career and I won't run anymore. I can just walk. It's fine. But I just think that if you have a goal and you're really wanting to do it, if you're coming back from injury, you're always going to have setbacks, but it's not a failure. And it's actually funny that you asked me that because I had a coach who just sent out an email about 2 days ago from a gym that I used to go to. And he sent it out just a couple of days ago. And it was about setbacks and about injuries and how you're not failing if you have a setback. It's just that you have to pivot, have to refocus and reimagine the goal that you're after and just remain focused and just realize that, okay, this is a learning point where I can say, okay, I can't do this in this way anymore, but maybe I can do it in a different way to where my body is not responding to where I'm always injured all the time. Because that's where I was. Like, I can tell you, I've probably been injured every year since, I want to say 2015. I had a back surgery and came back from that. And then I thought I was good and then tore my ACL. And it's one thing after the other. And then I had a shoulder surgery. And then it was like, at one point I was just like, what is going on? Like, why do I keep getting injured? Like, I don't understand it. And I was just like, okay, my body's trying to tell me something, obviously.
Right.
So I just said, I'm just going to not do anything for a whole year. I'm only going to walk. And that's when I got in with the coach that I'm working in with right now. He just said, come to me, we can figure out what's going on with you. Why do you keep getting injured? Because there's obviously something that I'm not doing right or I'm doing wrong that is causing me to keep getting injured. So I started working with him and working with how my hips were moving and how I was walking and different things that I was doing that I didn't know what I was doing because I was just running and walking like I normally do. I didn't know that I was doing it wrong. But yeah, so it's, if you do have a coach or if you have someone in your life that you can talk to about if you keep getting injured or you just don't really know why you keep having these injuries or these setbacks, find someone that you can trust or that has a lot of experience or knowledge in it and see what they can help you with. Because whether they can refer you to a strength coach or some kind of athletic trainer who can physical therapy, there's always little things that you can do to bring you back from those injuries and just help you keep going.
Oh, that's so good.
And keep your
wow, you're practically a brand new woman after having surgery.
Yeah, I think this year has been the first year that I've been injury free where something hasn't been hurting me. And I think that's why, and it's been working with this coach and really learning how to train and run the correct way. I've always, like I said, I played soccer, so my entire life was get there first, get to the ball first, get to this first, get to that first, be fast. And I think when I first started running solo, for me, it was like, I have to be first. And so I was always just running as fast as I could. And I was just getting worn out so much faster. And as I started working with and running with different run groups and working with different coaches, I could tell myself, okay, you're not competing against anyone but yourself. So slow down. You don't need to go so fast. So I have to keep constantly telling myself, even today, like when I'm running, slow down, you're going too fast. So I have to keep constantly telling myself that. And there are times when I'm at like a 9:15 pace and I'm like, okay, you're going way too fast. Like I'm gonna die by mile 3, so I need to slow down. And to some people, 9 minutes is probably really slow, but that's fast for me. So I guess learning how to pace yourself and learning what works for you and what works for you may not work for someone that you're running with who has been running their entire lives and is at a 5-minute mile or something like that. So you just have to find what works for you and go with that because you're the only person that you're running against. You're not running against anyone else but yourself.
Oh, that's so good. So good. Love that. Speaking of running yourself, what are your running goals?
My current running goal is a half marathon, my first half marathon. So I've signed up for it. It's in April. It's the Savannah Women's Half. I haven't been training for the half marathon. I've been training for the double bridge run. But once I complete that, then I figure that's a good transition into 4 more miles. So what's 4 more miles after that? Or 3 more miles, whatever you want to call it. So so I'm with a training group right now. I've already talked to the coach that's doing that to help me to train for the half marathon. So that's my short-term goal. My long-term goal is the Boston Marathon. And that's a long time. Whether I have to run to qualify for it or if I have to do charity, I want to do it at some point in my life. So I just don't know when that's going to be. So, yeah.
That's amazing. Wow. When you want to give up, what is a mantra that you tell yourself?
Lately, it's been just breathe.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know if it's really about giving up, but just when things are getting hectic and I just feel myself either getting stressed or anxious, or if I'm running too fast, just take a deep breath, just breathe, calm yourself down, and carry on from there. Whatever's happening in that moment is not the end of the world. And you just have to, just calm yourself down, breathe through it, and you'll carry on.
I'm good. What has been your favorite link to run so far? Whether an actual run or whether it's a training run, what gets you excited to hit the pavement?
I think it's just running with the groups that I've run with lately. I found a really good run group just probably in this past year that I've gotten really close with. We run every Tuesday, and then obviously we hang out outside of that. And now that I'm intermingling with them and hanging out with them more, now I'm getting invited to do races with them, and having another person to do a race with and having that kind of team bonding, I think is really cool. Mm-hmm. Not only do they do running, but a lot of the people that I run with, they do triathlons. So now they're trying to get me to do triathlon. Yeah. And I'm like, let me get past the first half marathon first, and then we'll talk about that. I was like, baby steps for me. So, yeah. But yeah, I think just being able to run with people and sharing those experiences and sharing those different runs with people, I think has been my most excitement recently.
I love that so much. That's so cool. I'm a huge believer in how important the running community is. Think about people. I just absolutely love them.
Yeah, and like I said, I think running is for everyone. Everyone knows how to run. You've known how to run since you were a kid. It's just a matter of getting out there and doing it and trying to do your best to get through, whether it's a mile or 3 or 5 or 6 or however many you want to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And having that community but with.
Yes. Because we're all going through the same pain.
Absolutely.
Why not do it together?
So let's switch a gear here for a second and let's talk about all things double bridge.
Okay.
So what is the history of the double bridge?
So this is year 27 for the double bridge run.
Really? Okay.
Yes. I don't know exactly the first ones that came along. I wasn't around then, but as far as I know, the double bridge has had so many different courses throughout its 27 years. Just in the last 5 years, it's probably had a different course every year just because of construction and hurricanes and bridges being taken out by barges and things like that, COVID. But I know when I ran the double bridge in 2001, it was on, so say you're going into Gulf Breeze or you're going towards the beach, we were running on the right side of the bridge. And it ended at, I believe, the Sandshaker, I want to say. And now these past, I would say a little bit over 5 years now, it's on the left side of the bridge and it ends at the boardwalk. But like I said, it's changed just in the past 5 years where now there's a new service road that kind of leads. So now we get the runners off the main road a little bit earlier and get them onto that side road. Now there's a new roundabout that last year we went to the right of the roundabout, but we learned that was too much of a jagged turn for them to get onto the bridge. So this year we're going on the other way. So it's a little bit more of it's a little bit more easier to get onto the bridge. It's just little minor details of just the course is in itself is ever changing, and hopefully we've got a course that is going to stay for a little bit. We'll see. In 2020, when we didn't have a bridge, we had to start at the beach. We were given permission to run on a portion of the bridge that was safe, and then they could only run on, it was not even half a mile, but we got them on the bridge, and people were happy with that. So it's just making those adjustments, and how do you run a double bridge when you only have one bridge to run on? So yeah, you're saying, okay, well, you ran over, because they had to run over the Bob Sykes Bridge. They ran over a little bit of the 3 Mile Bridge, but had to turn around, and then they went over the Bob Sykes Bridge again. So that was our way of saying it was a double bridge. And people came out for it. I think people understand races and that you have to pivot when unexpected things come up.
Sure.
But I think overall, we never want to not have the race. And I think that was our biggest thing in 2020 is we want to put this race on. How can we do it when we don't have a bridge? And somehow we did it. Those 30 plus people came together and we put our heads together and figured out a way to do it. So the comments you could see on Facebook pages were just funny. Like, are they going to make us swim across the bridge, or we have to jump across? So those comments are always funny from participants. And then I think just the overall aspect of now there's a pedestrian path on the bridge, so people can hopefully come out and actually cheer on the runners on the bridge, whereas before you couldn't really get on there because there is nowhere for people to stand. The runners themselves were taking up 2 lanes. So now hopefully that pedestrian path. My goal of this race is to have it be like a Boston Marathon or a New York Marathon where there's just lines of people the entire course from start to finish, to where people are just with signs. And that's, I think, my ultimate goal for this race. And hopefully that'll grow and grow as people start to realize that now you can be in the pedestrian path and cheering on people. And hopefully this is the first year that people will come out and do that. One feedback that we did get back from some runners was that 3 Mile Bridge is lonely. To go across 3 Mile bridges by yourself, especially those front runners who are finishing the race in 30 minutes. It's a lonely 3 miles, even though it's a scenic view and it's awesome views. That was one of the things, is that they wish there was more on the bridge for people, for them to motivate themselves. So we've been putting out a call to, if you're not running, come and cheer everyone on. So
I love that.
Yeah, and then just the after party, I think, is another big thing. We've changed different things that we do here and there. We've added a post-race party. So after the party, there's an after party. And that's across the street at the Sandshaker. So we have a live band there that starts a couple hours after the race finishes, where people can go and get drink specials and things like that. And then before the race, during the weekend, we've tried to pull in the restaurants where they're giving us some specials where runners can go where they choose to, different restaurants, and have meals with their families and go out ahead of time with other runners and mingle at the different restaurants. So we're trying to bring business to the beach as well. So so it's just been an ever-changing race since I've been working it. It hasn't been the same. The weather, oh my gosh, the weather itself. I'm praying for the weather for next week. I don't know what it's going to be, but it's been changing like every day. It's never consistent. Every year it's either been really windy. I remember one year we had 30-mile-per-hour winds trying to put stuff up. We were tying things to cars because it was just so windy out there. But then we've had really nice days. It's been rainy, it's been cold, it's been windy. But hopefully this year we'll get good weather. So I'm hoping for that. We still have a week. It can still change.
I will say last year's weather was great. It was a little chilly to start off with, but then it warmed up. Now, once you got out there and the breeze came through a little bit, you're like, it's a little chilly again. But it was, again, the scenic, absolutely beautiful, running up the bridge and looking over, and you see the pristine water, and you're just like, this is amazing. Like, I can't believe I'm here running that.
And I think, if I'm thinking correctly, I think the race, there's about, I want to say 7 miles of it is either you can see water or you're over water. 7 of the 9 miles that you're running. So that 90% over water. So that's not something you see everywhere. And I think that's one of the draws of the race, is that you do get those scenic views. And it's not just on one side. You're not just seeing water on one side. You're seeing it on both sides. And you're seeing it in front of you too. So it's like all around you. So the start line is at Maritime Park, and you can actually see the 3 Mile Bridge, and you see the water from there at the start line. You're going into town, but it's only for 2 miles, and then you're on Bayfront, and you're seeing the water right there, and then you're on the bridge. You're in Gulf Breeze for a little bit, probably for about a mile, and then you're back on the water going onto the beach. So like I said, I don't know that there's other races out there that have those scenic views, and just those. You see the sunrise in the morning before you start the race. For the people who are out there setting up the race, we're out there at 4:00 in the morning, so we call it dark 30. So so we get to see the darkness, and then we actually see the sunrise. So that's cool out there as well. So we get a different perspective of the race, being on the logistical side of it, than the participants do.
Let me ask you this: are you having the cannon again?
The cannon, yes. We have, it's the Crew de Lafitte. I don't know if I'm saying it. They will bring their big pirate ship out there. They love doing it. They've been doing it for I don't know how many years, but they get a kick out of it.
It's so fun.
Yes, and then we have the smaller cannon that we do for the 5K. We have a smaller cannon out there too. So they like to make a lot of noise.
It's so fun.
Yes, they have a lot of fun out there. We love having them. So yeah, they're going to be out there again.
I'm like, I don't know of another race that starts with pirates in a cannon.
Yeah. And it won't be this year, but we're hoping next year that we can have them at the finish line. We didn't get to them early enough this year, but we're working on some things next year, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah. So let's talk about proceeds from this race. What does it benefit?
So Pensacola Sports is a not-for-profit. We're a 501c3. So this is our biggest event that we have. So it's our biggest fundraiser of the year. So it doesn't really necessarily go to a charity, but it does go into a lot of the things that we do throughout the year that we have. It helps us put on free events, our summer clinics that help us put those on for kids 5 to 12 during the summer. And with those clinics, the kids are getting a free soccer ball or tennis equipment, things like that. And it helps us put on just different events that we can keep the cost low for families and participants and things like that. So even though it's not going to a specific charity, it does help us with putting
it helps your community.
Events. Yeah, it helps the community.
I love that so much because you're helping kids, you're helping families find how they move, what makes them move together. And that's awesome.
Yes. Yeah, we love it. Like I said, we're big in the community. We love to help out however we can, and we're always trying to give back. This is one of our races. We actually have a second race in March, our Bayou Hills Run. And that one, we just partnered with Golden Elite Track Club that's here in town. We just partnered with them as being the beneficiary for that race. So we're always trying to give back to the community in any way we can through our own events or through helping just different organizations.
Oh, I love that. Well, thank you guys for doing that. Amazing.
No problem. We love it.
Let's talk about if somebody wants to sign up. When is the deadline? They cannot sign up anymore.
So the deadline is Friday, February 2nd is the last day you can register. So that'll be the second day at the expo or packet pickup. You can either register online and come to packet pickup, or you can come to packet pickup and register there. We'll have computers there that you can register on site. Now, the only thing is that the price does go up those last 2 days that you can register. So I think it's at $80, $80 and $65 right now for the 5K. But I think it only goes up like $5 the last 2 days. So whenever the expo closes at 7 p.m. on the 2nd, so that is the last time you can register. And right now I think we're almost at about 3,000 registered.
Wow.
Yes.
That is so exciting.
And we hope, I don't know if we'll get to the full 4,000 in this last week, but we're hoping as people start to get back to running and as people are starting to get back into registering for these races, that this race will just continue to grow and grow. 4,000 is our cap, but we're hoping 45,000, 5,000, and it just gets bigger and bigger. Now that we have a completed bridge and hopefully no more construction, we can now accommodate those bigger numbers. So as more and more people start to talk about it and how much fun they've had, and we can start, hopefully we're coming up with new ideas every year to make it that much more fun for people to participate in it. So we're always looking for ideas. So we send out a survey after the race to all the participants. We're always looking to get better, or if we're doing something right, we will try to keep it that way. But like I said, we're always trying to get better. We're always trying to accommodate all the participants that we have and just trying to make a good time for them.
I appreciate you and all your people that come together to put on such an incredible race for such a great cause, which is to take care of one another in the community through movement. That's just amazing.
Yes, I'm all about getting out there and just moving your body, whether it's a walk, run, or a sprint. And this race is for everyone too. I think it's 11 years old is the minimum age to do the 15K. And then obviously the 5K. We have the younger categories too, but all the way up to 80, 90-year-old people are running this race or either walking or running it. And you don't have to be an elite runner to do it. Anyone can do it, I think. You just got to get out there, put one foot in front of the other, and make it over those 2 bridges. I think the 5K is probably one of the more challenging 5Ks that you'll see out there because of that steep Bob Sykes Bridge. You don't see many 5Ks that are going over a steep bridge like that. So those people who are saying, oh, I'm just doing the 5K, yeah, you're not just doing the 5K. Yeah, you're still having to get over a pretty steep bridge, and it's still a big feat to get over. It's challenging.
That's right. Look, I'll be honest. Last year, I was running from pole to pole on that bridge. I was like, running here, we're walking. We're running to the next pole. Because it's a walk where you're like, this is forever.
Yeah. So it's baby steps. You just gotta,
That's
okay, I'm gonna get to this pole. Okay, I got to that pole. Now I'm gonna get to the other one. So it's like I said, mental strength. Like I said all along, it's all about mental strength, and you're tricking yourself to say, okay, now I can get there because I just got here, and I can still keep going. So
That's right. I think you're like, I get uphill, I get to go downhill.
yeah, and uphill is the hardest part. You rest on the downhill because you're just letting your momentum take you.
Absolutely. When you're not running, Amy, what are you passionate about?
My dog. Yeah, just animals. He is 6 years old, I believe. His name is Mango, and I love him to pieces. So I spend as much time with him as I can. Usually I'm working a lot, or if I'm home, I do a lot of house projects, just hanging out with my friends. If I'm not running, I feel like I'm always running.
That's fair.
So I feel like I'm running with my friends sometimes too. We're going to hang out, but we're actually going to go running. So yeah, there's always something to do in Pensacola, where there's going to the beach. There's always a festival going on. There's the markets in downtown. So yeah, just getting out when it's good weather, and just getting out either whether I'm walking or walking my dog or taking him to the beach. Just trying to get out there and yeah, not being a homebody as much as I can. But there's days when you just want to stay home and not do anything.
You're like, I run all the miles, just let me stay right here.
Right.
Any final words of wisdom, my friend?
Don't give up on your goals, even if I always go back to, like I said, I've had a lot of setbacks in my life and in my running goals, but I've always kept those running goals. Mm-hmm. Even though you've had those setbacks, I think if you keep those goals and you try to get back to where you were, whether you're going from 0 back to 100 and you have to keep starting over again, just keep starting over again, because eventually you'll get there. I'm 3 months out to the half marathon, which has been my goal for probably since 15, something like that, where I had to keep restarting. And I'm hoping that I can get there. And then I've reached that goal, and now I'm going to move on to my next goal, which is, I don't know, I think it's a marathon after that. I'm not sure. Just baby steps.
Like, let's see how this happens.
Yeah, I think it's just baby steps. Putting one foot in front of the other. If it's a running goal, that's something that someone told me. I think I was nervous about doing my first 10K, and they were just like, it's just one foot in front of the other. You don't have to go fast. You don't have to be the first one there. You just got to finish.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not worried about being first anymore. I know I'm not going to place probably ever. I think I've accepted that, but I think it's just my own personal goal is that I finished and just keep getting better and better at every race.
Yeah. Oh, Amy, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Sharing your story and getting to know you and what you do for your community in Pensacola. Thank you for putting on such a spectacular race for Double Bridge.
Thank you so much for having me. I had fun.
Yay!
How fun is Amy? Don't you just want to go run with her? I just love her. She's so amazing. And again, what a comeback story. And I am rooting for her to go to Boston. I just would love that so much for her, because just the stories that she shared, and how great of the story with her grandmother. Guys, that is so cute. Her grandmother timing her around the track, and that's just such a core memory. And thank you, Amy, for sharing that. That is just absolutely precious and such a sweet memory that you have with running. And I love that for you, my friend. And thank you again for what you do for Pensacola, for the running community, for your community, and for those that know you. You are just absolutely incredible. And I'm a huge fan, Amy, huge fan. And guys, thank you again so much to Port City Pacers for powering our podcast this month. Don't forget to become a member and sign up for those local races that are coming up. Huge shout out to Port City Pacers, because they believe in Runner's Story and we believe in Port City Pacers. And so thank you guys so much for what you do for our community as well. Patreon supporters, you are amazing. Thank you so much for making this podcast possible. We were even able, again, to go buy some new equipment to be able to make our podcast a little bit more clear whenever we're doing online interviews. And so we just thank you so much for that. That was just absolutely incredible of you guys. And you can become a Patreon supporter. You can go to our website and find out for more information at runyourstory.com. And Gaillard Tech Services could not do this podcast without him. Again, he tried his hardest to make sure that our quality was great on our end. It wasn't, but he did his best, and I just truly appreciate that about him. He can update your website. He can build you a brand new one. Guys, he's your go-to for all web things. And again, he edits the podcast. He does such a great job. And so thank you, Gray and Gaillard Tech Services. Again, you can find him at Gaillard Tech Services online, or you can also find him on social media as well. And thank you to Mars Hill Church for making this podcast possible. You guys are just extraordinary to be able to open up your doors for Run Your Story. They believe in us and we believe in Mars Hill. And so truly grateful for that community that comes alongside us as runners to be able to tell our stories. And I just truly appreciate that they give us such a safe place to be able to do that. Guys, you're going to want to share, like, and comment Amy's story because it's incredible. And again, if you want to sign up for Double Bridge, you can do that. You can go online, as Amy said, and sign up. You can also sign up on Friday at the expo. Highly suggest you go and do it. If you're on the fence about it, don't be. Just go ahead and sign up. It's a beautiful race. And as Amy said in the interview, like, they've changed the course throughout the years because they've had to, whether through road construction or hurricanes or whatever, but runners have shown up and persevered every year for this race. And that's absolutely incredible. Shout out to all you runners. You're doing an extraordinary job with that. And so this is a race I hope we get to do 27 more years. You know, what a legacy Double Bridge has. And just, again, thank you to Amy and her staff and all that they do for Double Bridge and for the community. And just so grateful for that. And what an honor to be able to sit down and chat with her. And she took time out of her day to be able to share the story of Double Bridge and her story. It's absolutely incredible. And so rooting for you, Amy, and all that you do. You are absolutely incredible, and so grateful for you and your story and your team. And now your story is a part of my story, and I take it wherever I go, whenever I hit the pavement, and I'm a better runner to get to know you, and so grateful for you. And again, for Double Bridge and for Pensacola for opening up the doors for us as runners, and just so thankful for all that Pensacola does for runners and that community. Just keep running, guys, keep running. So guys, get out there, go run your story, because every story needs to be heard.